Buenos dias. All right, so I'm just looking to make sure we are good and that people can see stuff. Let's see. What do we got? Okay, let me put my comments up there so I can hit the comments. What's going on, Shantae? Top Short, Crypto Coin, P. Kelly, Michael, Bitcoin, Jen. See, we can do all this now because we're leveraging multiple platforms. We fancy. Let me see. Uncut Footage asked something. Is AGIX worth less now that Hypercycle has dropped? No, they're not competitors. They're not even in the same. AGIX is a marketplace for artificial intelligence. Products, scientists, collaborators, not like the bad kind of collaborators. Collaborators, no. And it's the parent company to all of the Singularity Net spinoffs. Hypercycle is a layer 0 protocol. Hypercycle would be more compared to Ethereum, Cardano, Cosmos. That's where you need to put that in your mind. As far as marketplaces, you could say, well, as far as AI marketplaces, I don't know if there's another AI marketplace. Most of these AI companies are keeping that stuff pretty close to their vest. I mean, there's a reason why most AI companies are not built this way, because they keep there's nothing open about open AI. They share nothing but philosophical ideas. And so instead of having a big company with different departments, Singularity Net is a company with a bunch of all the different departments are different companies. They're their own spinoffs. They have their own teams. Ben Gortzel is a part of all those teams, and usually so is Mario, their CFO. But all of those are different teams with different goals. Sometimes it's different funding goals. Example, if we look at here, I'll bring the ecosystem up, see if that's still up. Okay, as we look at this ecosystem really quickly, it's important to remember that, yes, Singularity Net is in the middle. However, and let me make it bigger for you so you can see more stuff. Okay, as you're looking at this, understand that not all of these companies launch the same. So I'll go clockwise. NewNet token, by the way, did like 1,100% on day 1 or day 2, rolled back down. I think it's still at like a 300% gain. Awakening Health, we don't know yet, but I think that's an equity play. Deep Funding, you use your AGIX tokens actually as part of like voting. It's voting. It's very similar to the design of Catalyst for Cardano. Cogito tokens, although basically no one got a piece of this one. I did try. I'm still trying to get a little piece of this one for myself, for my back pocket. It looks very tough. That is like tracer assets and all sorts of cool, like very clear financial products. There will be a token that will launch, I believe, June 2nd or 3rd. So we're here like 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks away, 3 weeks and change. So that's actually coming pretty quickly. That's a token people are going to be fighting in the open market. We're going to talk a little bit about how Hypercycle went yesterday, but that's a token. OpenCog Hyperon is kind of rolled into True AGI. True AGI is an equity play. And unless you're, that's a tough one. Most regular people, I don't mean to be dismissive or diminutive or marginalize anyone, but if you're not an accredited investor with a bunch of cash, you ain't getting True AGI, meaning you're not going to, this is just a more, there's no token against it. And essentially it's AGI as a service, and they're working on an AGI chip that would be more purpose focused than, say, a GPU based chip system. So think of this as a competitor in a sense to the H100s that are being used by NVIDIA to do a lot of this training of transformer networks and large language models, things like that. Okay. Mindplex, I don't know if there's a token involved. I suspect there will be, but I don't know. Rejuve, yes, token. Longevity, health and longevity research, cool. Singularity Studio, I don't know. I think I think it's either a token based or it will just leverage the AGIX token. Sophiaverse, there is a token. SOPH is the token. There's also, it's pretty cool. I mean, we did a deep dive last week in the heavyweights. I think it's worth people taking a look at because it's not just gamification of AI as we approach AGI. It's basically incentivizing humans to be part of what looks like supervised fine tuning. As far as I understand it, it's really cool. Anyway, Sophiaverse, there is a token. SOPH is the token. That's going to be second or third week of June. That's going to be a pit fight as well, because I think a lot of people like this idea. I mean, yeah. Anyway, Jam Galaxy, I believe there's going to be a token. It's a music rights type of a play. I don't know too much in super detail. Yeah, True AGI, again, equity, Singularity DAO, a token, Hypercycle, a token. So there you go. I hope that kind of helps. Let me say also hello to Michael, Bitcoin Candy, Jen. Let's see, Baymax, CryptoCoin Growth, BitKitty. All right, woo woo. All right, so there we go. Will it be music streaming also? I don't know. I don't know enough about Jam Galaxy, and I don't know how far down the line they are. I know that Ben Gortzel loves his music. He's a big fan of the music. So we should assume. Let's see. Oh, Ralph, nothing like watching all of your recommendations going down, down, down. Well, Ralph, as it turns out, I don't have control of the market. So I don't know what to tell you. I guess everybody who's ever recommended anything is going down. I will tell you this, though, Ralph, who seems sour this morning. I mean, Hypercycle for early investors is up 640, 650%. I mean, we can go down the list if you'd like, and then you can give me an apology for every single thing that you're assuming if you want to do that, but I'm not spiteful. So yeah, on paper, depends where you started buying. Depends where you, if you're trying to sell, if you decided, hey, today is when I'm going to sell. Let's see, on Hypercycle, you told us not to buy yet. No. I told you to do what makes sense for you, Ralph. I told you to go very slowly and carefully. And I'm using Ralph, but I don't, this is not picking on Ralph. This is on everyone. If you're not dollar cost averaging into your positions, you're going to get nuked. And this is any position. This is equity or otherwise. This isn't a crypto specific thing. This is a common sense investing thing. If you do not dollar cost average, you're a fool. In and out. I mean, when you're buying and when you're selling. Because there are many Ralphs out there that may be emotional when the market's going down in red days. Oh, let's take a look. Okay, so Bitcoin went down. So what? Ethereum is down. So what? I mean, was anybody planning on selling today? Was Tuesday, May 9th? Is that, are we May 9th? Was Tuesday, May 9th anybody's day to just pack up all their stuff and retire from investing because you'd done it? Everybody here hit mass wealth and we're all finished. It's over, y'all. I did it. And I'm not worried at all about AI. No, not at all. I'm so unique that AI will never take my job. Psst, come on, man. And I guess Ralph, maybe, to all the Ralphs out there, the reason why I don't get emotional about this stuff is because as long as I own quality stuff that I like, stuff that I believe in, I don't really care what the day-to-day price vacillations are. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And if it does matter, so here's another, I think, thing we should probably think about. If you're invested in stuff and you see it go, and you're like a day like today, ooh, Bitcoin's down 1%. I'd be angry. Ethereum's down, which I don't really recommend, but you have to use it. I don't recommend XRP, but you have to watch it because that court case is important. Let's see, Cardano's down 2.46%. Yeah, I'd throw in the towel. I mean, I bought it at 2.7 cents and I've been staking for almost 6 years now. I made many millions of dollars off Cardano. But yeah, I'm pretty angry. This is I'm going to rage quit. Doge, if you're buying Doge, it's only because dummies would buy it. You guys saw what happened to Pepe? It got nuked. All those dumbasses that bought Pepe just started getting smoked. Matic, if you think it's meaningful layer 2, if you think, not me, because I don't recommend nothing, Ralph and all the Ralphs out there, if you've watched me talk, I'm very clear that you better do your own research and you better read the white papers. So let me ask you this, all of you, all the Ralphs out there. Have you read the white paper of every single asset you own? You read the Twitter profile of anybody you're going to date, but you're going to sink money into an asset that you have no clue about? Come on, man. Yes, Garth, you should make your bed. So am I optimistic? I am very optimistic about Ocean and optimism. And the reason I'm optimistic on all these things is when you see these down markets, if you're buying quality assets that you know, and Ralph, I'm not deflecting anything. I'm many times over a millionaire in crypto because of investing when markets are down. I got nothing to deflect, brother, if that's your pronoun. Man, I've got $20 million worth of cars. Ralph, let's not have a measuring contest. Because crypto, because I did what other people don't do when markets suck. If you buy what you believe is quality, when the markets are down and the markets come back, you win. If you don't, you'll never win because you don't have any system to judge what you're buying. And it's not a hater thing. Like, I totally get it. I get that it's frustrating that markets go down, but I just think people look at it the wrong way. All of the money I ever made in the crypto space, really an investing period, even when in the gold and silver space, when I was in the gold business, it was always when markets were bad and I was buying stuff and everybody else was rage quitting and panicking and scared and whiny. Like, the more people that are, I told you I have a 4-call rule. Like, I know that the market hasn't turned around until the 4th smart person calls me in a full state panic. And I thought we were getting there of course, I mean, Bitcoin did almost double in price since then. So I guess you could say we're not in that kind of low doldrums of like October, November of last year. But a lot of that came on the heels of crash after crash after crash after bankruptcy after scam. FTX, 3 Arrows, Luna, UST. I mean, go down the list of scammy giant projects. Celsius. Go down the list of huge projects that completely got obliterated due to poor management. So it was just one beating on the next. Now we live in a deflationary world. So to ignore the macro, to ignore the world that we live in and say, in this tiny, tiny illiquid bubble that I live in, prices don't always go up, therefore it's no good. That's just a misunderstanding of, kind of really basic psychology and math. That's not a deflection, Ralph. That's kind of like super basic investor 101. And again, I think, I just think people want to always win all the time. Let me ask you a question in the chat for everybody. If your account was 10 times higher right now, are you done investing for the rest of your life? You're done, you cash out, see you later, bye? Anybody here? Is anybody here where a 10x would be the end of it? You're done? I'm good? It's not enough. It's not enough. Now, let me ask another question. I think we're in a world of deflation. We could all argue that. I mean, math and like numbers probably support that. But are you open to the idea that we could go the other way and that the Treasury could really start printing, right? Especially if you buy into the de-dollarization myth, hype, nonsense, but whatever. But do you believe that we could go into some inflationary environment? That's the simple question. Yes or no? Do you believe that we could go into some inflationary environment where they really do start printing currency units? See, I do believe that's possible. I am open to that. We live in a deflationary environment, which I probably would make sense for me to cover because I think a lot of people almost get it, but don't quite get it. but I definitely believe that we could go into a massive inflationary environment. And one way we could get there, which is not even ridiculous government printing, is universal basic income. So let me ask you another question. Do you believe we are going to approach more or less AI in our society? Are businesses going to leverage AI more or less? Remember, a corporation's main goal is to who? Maximize shareholder profit, and unless it's Jamie Dimon, in which case that's put more money in Jamie Dimon's back pocket through quasi-illegal activity that the government supports in weird ways that we can't even possibly comprehend. That's like the bottom part of those car ads. So here's what I would say. If you believe any of those things, that we're going to go more AI as we approach AGI, that there's going to be an abundance not only of currency units floating around if we do some UBI, but that companies will lean more towards the technology that displaces people. So any or many or some of these things could create a very inflationary environment, right? And if you buy into the de-dollarization myth that, China and a bunch of, profligate nations are going to get together and they're going to have a currency and they'll never need the dollar ever again, what do you think everyone prices things in? It doesn't matter if you use a magic currency. What does everybody at the end of the day say? What is that in dollars? What is that in dollars? Hegemony, it doesn't just mean, see, I like these people that are all about, the US, the hegemony is going away, the exorbitant privilege. If it's such an exorbitant privilege that the US has, how come no one else on earth wants it? How come no one actually wants that exorbitant privilege? They can talk all they want. They can make a funny money currency. They can make their own interbank assets. They can make their own intercurrency. But you know what they buy? They buy US government debt. Still, no one's loading up on Chinese debt. No one's loading up on Japanese debt. No one's loading up on BRIC debt. No one. Now, was it a huge mistake when the US kind of weaponized debt, basically saying we don't have to repay our loans, essentially with the whole Russia situation? That was incredibly stupid. And guess what? The rest of the world is incredibly stupider. That's not even a real word. Why? Because they still trade in the safest liquid, most pristine collateral on earth, which is US government debt. So it's like the leper with the most fingers. That's not going away anytime soon, and a BRIC currency doesn't change that. Now, would a world that's more AI driven, maybe even eventually approaching AGI, that's more automated, less human, which means less emotional, probably steer, and currencies become more or less digital, I would say more digital. Could you see a world like that where currencies essentially all trade in real time based on use and utility, more like crypto assets trade? But you could see a government currency market, a government digital currency market, where if I wanted to deal with Brazil, I would just go do a swap and just go trade with Brazil. The same way that those of us that were grabbing some hypercycle yesterday were looking at doing swaps on MetaMask, and you didn't like the deal there because the slippage was too high. So you went over and you said, you know what, let me check DEX tools and see if there's another way. Maybe I'll look at Uniswap. Maybe I'll go over to MEXC. Maybe I'll try to go source some liquidity there. Crap, there's a fee. By the way, for anybody that went over to MEXC, I think they're charging a 5% fee to get your tokens off of MEXC, which is not all that bad because if you think about it, that's basically the same as doing 5% slippage. And you say, well, why would I do it? Why wouldn't I just leave the tokens there? Well, because, friends, you might want to go over to Singularity DAO in their vault right here. There's an HYPC vault. It's not paying that. Hold on, let me refresh. I'll tell you what it's paying. And you can park your tokens, and right now it's paying 85%. Now, is it going to be 85% forever? No. But I mean, is anybody else here making 85% on their investments just sitting at home? No. Is anybody else making? And you say, well, wait, man, that doesn't seem right. That's part of their marketing, okay? It's not staking. And it's not, this pool is not a tilling pool. We're not there yet. So as they are developing out these pools for people to place their tokens in to be a part of AI transactions, and I know I'm all over the place, but as that's being developed, you can sit here. And then when the pools are launched, you can go park your tokens in a pool and start getting paid as a validator to validate AI transactions and be a part of the future. Again, if you don't believe the world is going towards a more AI, more AGI world, if you think we are 6 months backwards and we're going backwards, then none of this matters. Matter of fact, well, I won't go into that because that might seem spiteful. I think we live in an environment where you have to be very careful what you buy. You have to separate all of your emotional connection to this stuff. You shouldn't be able to get mad, Ralph, and all the Ralphs out there. And there are a lot of Ralphs. There's nothing wrong with you, Ralph. Those are, I am validating your emotions, Ralph. I validate you. But the fact that anyone has any emotional connection to any of their investments is a failed bit. You are wrong. If the red or the green of the day makes any difference in your day, and that's up either. When markets go up, I'm uncomfortable because I always worry, like, did I miss it? Was that the last free lunch? So I don't know. I mean, I would probably go and look at your portfolio, and I would go back and look at your balance sheet, like your personal household balance sheet. Let's bring it back to basics. And I would say, have I overinvested? Are these quality assets? Do I understand what I own? And if you can't answer all those things without emotion, you are overinvested. Listen, I have private clients that have overinvested in stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? And these are people that are rich. I have rich clients that overinvest. I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, what? And here's how I know. When I start getting email after email or text after text, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? I go, what do you mean what's going on? It's moved 2%. What's going on with what? So when those are the questions you're asking, what's going on with? Well, you've overinvested. If you buy quality assets and you feel like you have good access to news and you understand what the team's trying to accomplish, you're fine. And if you start finding yourself being emotional, the cool thing about crypto assets is if you feel emotional at 3 a.m., guess what you can do? Anyone want to guess what you can do at 3:06 a.m. if you're in a panic? You can sell everything in about 14 minutes. Let's see. Crypto Gamer asked a really cool question. Did you see the WEF report about? Well, I don't know. Yes. Okay. Yes, I did see it. Let me caveat that with nothing that comes out of the World Economic Forum is much good for the world, nor is it basically economic. But yes, I saw it. That group is a little bit creepy, like a Bond villain group. Anyway, about how AI is going to disrupt the economy. I mean, I don't think how to make the Great Reset. I mean, the Great Reset already happened. Most people just don't know about it. I would contend, Crypto Gamer, and all of you, I would contend that the Great Reset happened when the public onboarded to ChatGPT. And I think it would be pretty hard for people to argue against that. Let me ask in the chats, in all the chats we got going, does anybody here think what they do is so creative that a piece of software or a robot cannot do it, will never displace it? Does anybody here think that, and be honest, be intellectually honest, does anyone here think you're so unique that what you do will not be replaced by software? No robot can be EMEG. Be careful, EMEG. I accept your challenge. You do nothing? Listen, there's a lot of AI systems that will probably be very efficient at nothingness. You'll be able to experience that. Put on these goggles and experience the nothing. But Bush, you're here because you're investing, right? So you may be retired from your employment, but you're not retired from investing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here this morning. I mean, I think maybe, yeah, I think the only way you beat AI is you just, what does it say? I didn't sell out. I bought in. You invest in the path of progress. And this is a story that has been consistent throughout history. If you know which direction the city is building in, and you buy the roads and the real estate and the land that they're going to have to build roads on, you win. Build and invest in the path of progress. And I would urge everyone right now, everybody, do you think you are building or investing in the path of progress right now, this second? 90% of you better say no, or you're liars. If you're being completely honest with yourself, you may not be honest with yourself about, will AI do what I do? Can a large language model with all of the knowledge in the world do more than I can do personally? Probably not. No, I'm incredibly unique. No, and we're not talking about the emergent capabilities of these large systems with lookup engines, and we're not talking about neurosymbolic learning engines, and we're not talking about, the complexities of machine learning and supervised fine tuning not being done by humans, but being done by other AI systems as we approach AGI. No, forget all of that, because you're super unique. Forget it. Yeah, you win. However, are you investing in the path of progress? Like, actively thinking about my investments. Where's the world going to be 18 months from now? I mean, I hope so. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's got an answer. You don't need to answer. But I think you need to be honest with yourself about what the answer might be, because most of you are not. Some of you are, a few of you. This isn't some pitch for digital heavyweights. I will be honest with you. I think we have a great digital heavyweight community. I do not care if anybody else ever joins the digital heavyweights, because we have an amazing group. If I were each one of you, I would be asking myself this one question: am I doing everything in my power to invest in the path of progress? That's it. That's the only question. And that will take you down the appropriate rabbit hole. If you're doing that, it doesn't matter if you want to hang out with us. It doesn't matter if you find some other, it doesn't matter how you do it, but you need to be doing it. And if you're not doing it, then you need to think about, how would I do it? I mean, I was going to go through how the launch went with Hypercycle. I think I'll save that. We'll talk about the day one tomorrow. We'll do a deep dissection of how it all went down yesterday. Why I was so and am still so excited about it is because it's a layer one in the AI space. And I don't see any other project that does that. That's that. I like infrastructure, which is investing in the path of progress. So if I can get infrastructure in AI as humanity moves really fast towards artificial general intelligence, agents, agent systems, networks, swarm AI, however we get there, it may emerge from a combination of large language models or generative pre-trained transformer networks. We don't know. But I want to do everything in my power to invest in the path of progress. So there you go. Let's see. Were we waiting for hyper coins in for AGIX? MetaMat. No. That's not how that's going to work. We'll cover that in the heavyweights. You're talking about the learn to earn type feature. Yeah, that's coming. The loyalty airdrops, but they're not just going to be dropping them into your wallet. You will get them, but it's going to be a different kind of system. They're actually you're going to learn a lot about AI in the process of getting those rewards, and you're going to be part of tilling, basically processing AI compute transactions and getting paid for it. So instead of Hypercycle giving you tokens that you may or may not know what to do with, they're going to already have them set up to immediately put into nodes. You'll start getting a paycheck. It's going to be pretty cool. You don't get it for free. You're going to have to participate, but it's pretty cool. Anyway, this is not an ad for Hypercycle. You guys can do whatever you want. I did real good yesterday, and I didn't sell one token. And that's all I'm going to say on a public broadcast. I will give more clarity about that because I want everyone to know, like, I am pushing this project, but I am not selling this project. This one is a hold. But you have a lot of stuff coming. You have Sophiaverse, you have Cogito, you have True AGI, and you have some of these other companies. And no, it's not on Coinbase. And I am not recommending anything today. I don't want anybody to buy anything, lest Ralph chastises me tomorrow if prices aren't up. I hope Ralph gives me kudos if the price goes up, because I'm in control of prices, as you guys know. Nick is behind the scenes of all prices all the time. So yeah, I would say if you're interested in hypercycle, go do your own research. Bam. Oh, damn it. Ralph burn off. No. Well, there's other Ralphs out there. Ralph's not the only Ralph. He's not the Ralph. He's a Ralph. Okay. So here's what I would say. We live in a deflationary money environment. I think it's important to just keep that in the back of your mind. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. Oh, Population One. God, it's awesome. Anybody who, God, this is unrelated, but if you play Population One, get at me. It's Dr. Voodoo on, if you guys have your Oculus and you play Pop One. If I get enough people together, we'll just do a private room. We can get 24 people together and set up like a huge, like, city battle, which would be, and we can leave the mics open. We can do like an open mic thing. It's so cool. Has anybody here even played? This is so unrelated. Okay, you know what? This is a heavyweight discussion. But if you've played Population One, you know. And again, be careful about what you do out there. Go slow, go very slow. Dollar cost average in and dollar cost average out of everything you do, and only buy stuff that you understand and that you've read the white paper. And if you're not doing that, you don't get the right to be angry. And if you have done that, there's no point to be angry, because you're not emotional, because these are not emotional things. All of this stuff is nothing. Nothing means anything in investing. You're still, at the end of the day, distill it all down, you're still, if you're honest with yourself, guessing. And all you can do is make, what you think are the best fundamental guesses before everybody else guesses what you guessed. And you hope that they eventually guess what you guessed. And that is the whole idea of the beauty pageant of investing. At a beauty pageant, you're not trying to figure out who the prettiest contestant is. You're trying to figure out who everyone else is going to vote as the prettiest contestant and front run their vote and exit on them as they vote. That is probably investing. All right. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor, insolvent, drunk, strung on meth grandmother or EMEG wouldn't do. And on that note, I must bid you adieu. We'll see you tomorrow for the digital heavyweights. Cheer up, Ralph. It'll be green again.